So welcome to the first episode of this podcast, Training, Thought and Truth. I'm here with Noel Somers, a good friend of mine, and we're going to talk about three concepts that I think are very important to bring yourself more into alignment. So, to explain what I'm talking about first, I'm going to read out a description I have of the podcast because of the first episode. So, to explain what I'm talking about first, Training, Thought and Truth represents being physically, mentally and spiritually ready for the world. It's been my own mantra for a few years now. It's obviously important to look after your family and friends, and that all ties into it. But the main point is self-development, and it's not about getting rich or lucky or anything like that. It's more honest and more meaningful, I think. So I believe these three aspects are essential to being complete in themselves. The conversations are straight shooting, no bullshit, no fads, no judgments, just discussions with people I have around me that are very driven or successful individuals with what they do. So I found more lately that we talk to people with their experiences, the more I realise that we're all on the same kind of road, the same age. Some people are afraid to open up and talk about these things, but I think we should do that here, and I ask the same from my guest speakers. So the way I would do this is I would tell a bit about these three concepts and what they mean to me, and then I'll ask the guests to discuss them back and forth under each heading. So training to me means the physical element. So basically, this to me is how much I exercise and how active I am. I lift weights about 3 times a week. I try to run once a week and cycle maybe twice a week. Hit the heavy bag maybe a couple of times a week. I work in an office, so by the time I get home, I've very little amount of movement done, steps done. I need something to keep the weight off, which has gotten difficult in the last few years. I think also the notion of being physically ready or able is an idea that is obviously arising. That at least you can take on a challenge when it comes up to you. You can play a game of football with friends, do a hike, a cycle, kicking around the ball with your son, your friends, whatever. Also, I'm not condemning violence, but I think that everyone should be able to defend themselves if they're in a situation that arises with their loved ones, if you get attacked in the street, which happens more than people think. So then the thought is the mental aspect of it. So I like to listen to a lot of podcasts, educate myself, look up on neuroscience, how the mind works, or cosmology, how the universe works, or philosophy and psychology, how our history and cultures work. So also for work, I think I had to work from the bottom up of a new industry a few years ago. I had to do a bit more than normal, working overtime unpaid, studying at night, doing my level 8 to get to the job I'm in now. And then I have a long commute, so I listen to a lot of audiobooks. I have time to do it. I'm cycling as well. And I think it helps keep your mind active and open to learn, which keeps your body active. I also found mentally I had to rewire my brain on how I look and consume food and prioritise exercise. And I believe you have to do this to see results. So then truth is the final one, which is the spiritual element. This means a few different things to me. So I think it's a drive that keeps us going towards our goals. I think to keep eating well and being active, the importance of not taking things for granted, like our kids and our family and our health and the bigger picture when things go wrong, being grateful for being alive, because it's relatively short time we are alive and youthful and get to see our kids from a young age growing up, and our friends all getting married and starting families and all that. I think we're at that age now probably. And truth is also about my faith. I'm a Christian, and more so because of a few personal things, experiences that happened over the last few years rather than my upbringing. We probably delve into that a bit more with different podcasts, because I've come across a lot of people my age who are noticing a pull towards something higher also. This is what made me feel my interest in neuroscience, cosmology and the origins. Music as well, a big thing in my family, and I think that's also to do with the spirit. There's a lot of studies on how you can keep going for longer when you're doing runs and all when you listen to music, so I think music definitely helps bring your mood up. It's proven to do that. So that's basically what the podcast is about. I have Noel Somers with me, who is an amateur boxer, boxing from a very young age, recently started on Hell Week, started the RTÉ Hell Week, and I think someone who's very physically driven, and I reckon that must also tie into being mentally driven. So training wise now, you've been training since I know you, but obviously it goes on way back further to the extreme, more so than I've ever seen I've known anyone to train, like running 30Ks. And what do you think? Do you think like how young you got into it? Is that a good thing, or what age should you start getting into this?
Yeah, no, I started as young as 5 years old. My dad used to bring us down to boxing club once a week. So that's how quick I basically got into training. So 5 years old, we used to go on boxing club once a week, doing that every we were 8. As soon as we were 8, we had our first boxing fight, and we were allowed then go down to the club Monday, Wednesday and Friday. So I was into fitness from a very young age, boxing.
What do you think of 8-year-olds doing that? Like, I know some people look and go, geez, they're way too young to do that. But do you think, like, you found it good? Was it good for her?
Yeah, no, I found I remember sparring even when I was 8 years old, and I think because you're so young and little, you're in sparring in a boxing ring, you don't really feel the punches. None of you have that much strength at that age, you know, and it's more so you're both just going at it, and you're both just getting so excited. But like, if you see any young kids even sparring, like, they all go in throwing loads of punches at each other, and you can see that they're not hurting each other. Sometimes you get a kid crying, but it's more so just up their fright.
I suppose at that age, and probably in all amateur, it's probably more about landing the shots and getting the points, really, isn't
That's
it? Going the distance
just,
and like to stamina and competing. Because that's a super competitive sport, isn't it? Some sports are running, they're not physical, but this is really toe to toe, so you have to know them, like, or, you know, it's instinct.
It's like a game of chess, basically, you know, it's be hit and not be hit, you're real
rapid, you have to be real, you know, rapid reactions. So you continue training though. And obviously it's gotten harder since you have a kid and all that.
That's it.
It's harder as well at this age. I think your metabolism slows down, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, it does, definitely. And it was well with jobs and kids, and depending what way your shifts work around, and like, say for instance, you'll always fit training somewhere, but it's the type of training that sometimes you can't do. So say for instance for me, the times when the sparring on was open sparring on around different clubs, I'd be in work, I won't be able to go to things like that, which really benefit you coming up to fights. So I'd be able to come home and do a run, you know, or like do skipping and do like the bag walk. But
that's the thing, you always have to fit something in, don't you? Even if it's not, like, it doesn't have to be a fucking 10k run, but, you know, even if you're tired at home, you know, maybe you gave me that heavy bag recently, and you're like, oh, you're wrecked, and it's a bit of a headache, and you said, just do it now, like, before it gets too late. And I did do it, and once I got down it, you got into it. But there's always something around you can do. You can do sit-ups or push-ups in your floor of any room in your house, can't you?
Exactly. That's it. It's like if you're going to sit down and you're going to spend 20 or 30 minutes on your phone, whether it's scrolling through Facebook or whether it's on WhatsApp, or there's 20-30 minutes of a run or skipping or
and you know, a lot of times, like, you might think you're interested in it, but then I can't remember what you looked up for half hour.
Because you looked up nothing, you were scrolling to try to find something that interests you, but you never do find anything.
Yeah, rather than working on yourself.
Exactly, yeah.
So when I get to, so that's kind of training, was when I get to the thought side of things, right? I always remember you were always applying for jobs and doing certs, first aid certs, you got your eye-tech nutrition certs, you did loads of training, didn't you? And you're also going to different clubs, doing different types of martial arts. You were doing the bit of MMA and the boxing and all that, and then you've always been kind of driven to do then courses and certs. Do you think that ties in a bit, like being determined kind of mentally to get all that upskilling, also ties in with the physical element of the side of things? Because I think once you're driven in one way, you're probably driven in the other as well, aren't you?
That's it. I was always able to see what everything else was about. So what's this sports like? I'd like to give this a shot, and, you know, kind of learn the techniques of that sport as well. I think that it's because I was in it since a young age, and it's like I actually feel like I'm missing out on things if I don't try everything. It feels like I'm missing out. I just want to see what everything's about.
Do you think, when you say you're missing out on things, do you think you have a limited time before you get too old to be, like, because both of us now, we were talking about earlier on, injuries creeping in more so the last couple of years than ever.
Yeah.
Like, I know probably maybe your jobs now are a little less physical because you drive Lewis where you're seated for, and I work in an office where I'm seated for a big block of the day, and I guess your muscles aren't working as much. But I know as well, the older you get, it's hard to keep vitamins in your body, and like I was out for a run today, my knee was having very bad, and you were talking about your leg, even in Hell Week, how bad your leg was going into it, that you didn't want to say anything about it, but obviously that eventually held you up from completing a task that would have been simple to you because it was a 5k hill run, and then 2 weeks later you're doing a 60k when you're able to do a better hill run, you know. So I think that the older you get, do you feel as though I better try these all before I get to a certain age, or do you feel as though you better do show fights in boxing while I still can, or do you ever think about that thought?
No, I do. It's like I've been saying the last few years, but it's always one more year for me. I'll do it again. Then the next year it's again. So I was thinking to myself lately, I don't think I'll ever stop or give it up as much as any guy. When I hear somebody say, "Are you too old now?" I obviously know you're only as old as you feel. So if you can keep up your training, keep up being healthy, so you're still going to be as fit and strong as somebody 10 years younger than you that's not doing as much as you, keeping themselves healthy. It's like, some advice I would give somebody is, I stopped training there for 3 years, and I started a job. I'm a tram driver, driving Lewis. I was sitting down for nearly 2 years, going to work, sitting down, driving the tram, coming home, sitting down, vice versa, for like a year and a half. I've never had injuries, and all of a sudden I'm getting injuries nearly with every training session I do. And why that is because I was basically sitting down, all my ligaments, tendons, muscles were all gone weak and all tightening up. They had no elastic in them whatsoever, so like, if I say give somebody, if they're ever going to be in a job sitting down, or if they're starting a new job that they're never going to be sitting down a lot more, make sure you keep your training up straight away. Don't kind of put it off for a good while like I did, because it took me a good 6 months to like really get back into it. Well, it used to, if I stopped training for a while, I'd be back into it in like 3 or 4 weeks, But
yeah, and it wasn't as if you did a small bit, like you put on a good bit of extra weight.
I did. I went from, say, you're looking at between 71, 75 kilos up as far as 89 kilos, so I put up, 2.5 stone.
Yeah, I'll probably show a picture now
of
you before and after.
Yeah.
And there was, but I think, some people might say, look, he was always at it, so it was easy to get back into it.
Yeah.
But it wasn't that, because I remember you telling me, I was trying to do my running, and my legs were sore, but the fitness was letting me down. And I was doing a couple of kilometres, and I was like panting out of breath, couldn't do 5k without stopping. Still I struggled at that some days. But you were literally trying to do 1k and then back to your house, back all over again, for someone who was super fit since like 4 or 5 years old. And then you found like 30, had to stop him for 3 years. You actually had to go back to the very start almost, didn't you?
Well, that's it. You're looking at November, really, when I started back training. The first few runs, I planned I was going to go out and do a 5k, 10k. Couldn't do 1k, had to turn back the walk. That happened to me for a good 2 weeks. I finally went out and managed to do a 5k, done a few of them, finally went out and done a 10k. Some of the days I was coming home, I was doing a half an hour of skipping. I was just trying to build up my legs, because they were just really gone weak. They just had no strength in them. And then you're looking at, so that was from November. Then March time I went into Ultimate Hell Week on RTÉ. Now I went in where I actually got really bad tear to my calf. Probably due to all the strenuous training I was doing, to have not done nothing for a good 2 years, 3 years beforehand, But it's if you look at it now, I've done the Hell Week. 6 weeks after that, I've done a 60k mountain run, the Ballyhorda Trail. I've done that. So for somebody that was so bad couldn't run 1k in November, to like, I'm back boxing now. I've done the Ballyhorda Trail. I got picked for a Hell Week, and you had to go through a physical and application.
And you're looking to get back into show fights.
I am, yeah.
So, but do you think though, from when you went, you basically had to start all over again?
I did.
But the physical element of it, I remember you saying often, like, even if you're wrecked hard, still get out and do it.
That's it.
But that's the physical side, but that's also the mental side of it as well. That a lot of people are lacking. Like, some people, like, you go to the gym once or twice, I do 2 classes a week, and sometimes that doesn't cut it when you get to our age, or if you're not looking after the food side of things. Like, I know you were talking about low GI carbs and all, getting what's it into your muscles?
The glycogen.
It's
just a store for your muscles, fuel for your next, basically.
Because I often talk with my brother and we saying, you need to be drinking the day before. Like, if you don't drink, like I was thirsty today, I couldn't get the thirst off me. Was sore from lifting weights through the day. I was doing deadlifts, one of the lads, and all my back was killing me. And like, I had to do the swimming yesterday, so I wasn't going to do that again. So I said, I'd do a bit of a jog. I said I'd go out and do a couple of K. I did 4k because I knew I couldn't lift weights and I couldn't do a swimming again. And but I was thirsty, couldn't get a thirst off me. And it really affected my energy levels, like how much I was going. My throat was dry for the whole lot, even though I was sipping water before I was going. It was too late then at that stage.
It's too late. You should be sipping water constantly, throughout the day. Like, if you notice yourself, you wake up and you're getting stitches and your mouth's dry and you're really thirsty, you're not drinking enough water, so it's kind of, you're dehydrated already, it's too late.
But as well, like that as well, I find you dehydrate more when you don't sleep as much. I find that, like, my skin has been in bits if I don't get good sleep. Like, I was looking up there recently, like, sleep is just as important. It's one of the most important things for, like, losing weight, I think, as well. Like, it's fine doing the training every day and eating fairly good, but if you're not getting enough sleep, your body doesn't shed the weight.
That's it.
And I don't feel hydrated, my energy is down, I don't want to do it the next day.
It's like your body can't work the way your body should, or the way your body wants it, because your body doesn't have enough energy, your body's not awake.
Yeah.
And
I notice my heart rate is more, like, I keep the watch on me all the time, and everyone like last down that says roughly what my heart rate is in the last few minutes. Yeah. It's higher than usual just walking around. It's like my body has to work that bit more just to get me moving around the place. So even when the minute I go to do exercise, which I usually do, the heart rate is way higher. It's like my body doesn't have the energy or the stores there.
Because it has to work harder.
Work hard to do the same thing, yeah. I do think that, like, so...
Somebody once said to me before, and it kind of stuck in my head. I remember one time at a training session I said, I can't do it. And somebody said to me, you can do it. If you can't do it, you just get on with it. Just get on with it and do it. And that has always stuck in my head. It just said, and he has a point.
Yeah.
Just get on with it.
Yeah.
It's...
Yeah, sometimes you do think, sometimes I find you be whinging in your head when you're doing something like, but actually one of the things that was said in Hell Week, and it was said by, I don't know what his name, you probably would, he was the kind of red haired guy, he went down with pneumonia in the lake. Yeah, we were talking about. The first run, he was in the first kind of.
Oh, that was Mick.
Yeah.
Really good. Yeah, he's very fit. Really good.
He was saying in the scratch, he was saying that trial, the curve, hours long. He was like, get out of your own head.
Yeah.
And it is a good idea. Like, I do think sometimes, you need to switch your brain off when you're running.
You do.
Like, if you forget you're running, like, sometimes I have a habit of. Maybe it's the bad side of things. So I think that fitness tracks are great. Yeah. I think for someone who's not always active from a younger age, I'm getting into fitness the last few years, but it keeps track of my calories burned per day and it sets a goal. It says, well, you have to do 30 minutes every day of exercise. You have to burn over 1,000 calories just actively, not moving around, and you have to stand for at least 12 hours in a day. And then if you do that every week, you'll pump it up again. Yeah. And say, we did that last week, try like 35 minutes of exercise and 2,000 pounds, But when sometimes when you're running, you're in your head here. I keep looking, the bad side of the watch is hard. I keep looking down at the watch, and I'm like, I think it's 2.4 kilometers, or I'll get to 3. Where sometimes if you listen to the song, you're listening, you lose yourself in your own thoughts, and all of a sudden you're gone 4 or 5k. Because you weren't thinking about, my legs are hurting, this part of me's hurting now, and will I overdo it and all that. So getting out of your head, I thought was a good idea. Sometimes you overthink it, don't you? Like, sometimes you're sitting there like, should I go for it? Oh, maybe I won't. I didn't do it before, or I'm a bit tired. But sure, even doing 2k is better than sitting on the couch.
Yeah, I know, 100%. And a good thing with the trackers, you kind of basically set a little task every day to beat your, to beat your other day and thing. But
goals and stuff.
It's well when as you're doing a run, everything comes to an end. So sometimes if you're really so tired, there's always an end to something.
And you always feel better then.
Yeah,
especially if these trackers are good as well for not just trackers but the phones and all. You do a run on Strava, you finish it and you might be booking this bed for like 2 minutes and you're like standing outside trying to cool down. But then you look at it and you see your pace and you see your calories burned and people hit like on it, and like it gives you a boost. Like, you're in a community of your mates that are running together, and the kind of way. I think that the last generation, all our dads were heavy, kind of had guts. And I know your dad was a boxer for years. My dad did a bit of boxing as well. But that kind of generation weren't as clued in on the science of nutrition or exercise or anything. I think that's more of our generation.
It is.
Which we're trying to pass it on because of them. But like, I think it's good that everyone now, everyone's met in the pub every week. But now, when you get home at 8 o'clock in the evening, you look over Australia and there's someone going for a run, that's one of your mates, and you put a comment on it, and then it makes you want to go.
Exactly, it does, yeah.
It does. So I think that's a real good help boost. It makes everyone feel better as well. Like, you sleep better, you eat better, you feel better every day. Your mind's sharper. I do find that an awful lot. But that's, I suppose, getting to the truth side of things. So I think in this way, this is kind of, I think, the spirit of like to be kind of complete in yourself. Like what do you want really? You want to be like happy enough in your job or content in your job. You're going to upskill to do that. You want to have that fit body. It doesn't matter about aesthetics or what it looks like too much. Obviously that doesn't matter because it helps your confidence and your role model then to your kid or whatever like that. And you're just physically fit. And like I know, like weightlifting and running holds off arthritis and that, you know, keeps your body stronger, your fibers rebuilding. But as well, like the spirit of things, I know when you have a kid it's hard to make time for it. But I find you get a bit of a drive, you know, because like they might see you sitting on the couch eating a takeaway, right? And that's fine, everyone does that just once a week or whatever, you know. But if they see you every day stuck on TV and you know you're putting on the weight, it's just negative on them, I think, you know, and you're eating convenient thing, you know. I know we're all tired in from work, throw whatever on, you know, and there's pasta that's handy or there's pizzas thrown in the oven or like that, but I do try to save the iron. And I was saying to you last time, you know, broccoli, it's really good for keeping them, it has vitamins and iron and it keeps away the sickness, and that chicken is lean chicken, like, and it's really good for your muscles when you run around and, you know, give you energy, and he sees that now as well. Now, like all kids, they love treats, but it's good that they know that, because I was never shown that, and I think people maybe people didn't know that when you're 4 or 5 years old. Didn't know, like everyone knew potatoes are good for you, but they come from the ground kind of thing, and that's fine. Like certain other potatoes are good for you, but like now we're kind of introduced to like there's more foods available for us now, like blueberries and avocados, they were never around, and
like the yams and
exactly, sweet potato and all that. That really, like, if you substitute like your main potato for sweet potato, it's way better. And apparently all the vitamins are in the skin of it, you know, and it's supposed to be great like that. But I think in truth as well, right? So you're in a similar situation, kind of. You just have to get in your house. We're still working towards ours. You're in your job, and you've one son. You're unmarried at the moment. You're big into music and all, and music, I think, lifts your spirit. I think,
no, it does, yeah.
Even if you're on the way to the gym, even if it's 2 or 3 minute commute, even like I came from a restaurant here, and it's literally a 1 minute drive, and I put on a song that was kind of getting me in the humour for
but
getting
it made you
things.
feel great.
Yeah, it wasn't like a song going to go for a run, but it was kind of inspired for getting things done, you know. And even the couple of minutes of it, you know, I was just, you know, it put you back in perspective. What are you trying to do? What are you trying to achieve here? It switches your mind like that.
Exactly, yeah.
And I think when you're running, it's good to get a good playlist together.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, do you ever run without music? I'm sure you at this stage probably could.
Yeah, see, there you go. Like everybody's different, and music's great for kind of taking people's mind off kind of sometimes how hard a run is.
De-stressing as well.
De-stressing. I'm the opposite. I don't run with music.
Do you not? No.
And the reason being is because when I train, it kind of de-stresses me. So if I go on a run, every thought I had in my head, everything I'm thinking about as I run, it all comes into my head. Everything comes into my head. So by the time I'm finished the run,
you've got sorted out.
It's all sort of have a lot sorted out.
Yeah, that is interesting as well, because sometimes I go for lengthy cycles.
Yeah.
So my last big cycle was about a month ago. I did 110k. I barely listened to any music. It was like podcasts, and then it was paused and it was off for half hour. I find you do kind of, who's dropping in tomorrow? Actually, I want to say that today because I want to start this, and you know, you organise stuff, and then it's organised in your head a bit, where then when it comes back up, you know straight away, you know what, actually, no one was thinking of that, like, and I think you're right in that. Yeah. Now, I find music because I need something to drive me on, because I can't do that much running. I need as much boost as I can, and apparently there's good evidence to show it pushes you like 13%, 23% forward. I can't remember the exact figure, but I think that's a spirit of that brings in the drive into you. You need the drive, and you need the mental state to actually get fit. You know?
It's like the drive you said as well. Like it's laughing. Somebody I know very well actually sent me a picture of myself with my belly hanging out my short, and it's kind of yeah. There you go. I'm looking at him, and I think since I kind of seen that, I kind of said to myself, I don't want to be getting older and older and older. Like, I get fat like that, and me like me kids looking at me like that. You know,
it does put years on it.
It does
on anyone.
It made me realize I want to be able to like run for a bus, run with my kid in the park. When sports day and all's coming up, like do well with your kid, not like
not do sports with your kids, because
doing all the sports with your kid, and plus for him to see you like growing up healthy and training, like it's gonna follow him. They're gonna follow it as well.
Yeah, I think that's true as well. I hope Connor's not really getting into that much sport now, but he loves to kick around the ball. He's really active, and you know, another way fathers are as well, that they roll around and mess with their kids. And I'm not trying to say, oh, stop doing that, but then it's actually proven to be good for them. You know, the rough and tumble. You know, it doesn't, not necessarily hard and smoke, but it's good to have that interaction. You know, and to build them into it. So I think that's good, and as well, like with the age, I think your spirit kind of changes in different ways. Like, you know, if you're heading out, I find like we're heading out soon, all our kind of mates, and I know everyone's looking to go to an all man's pub now, early in the day, where it used to be late.
Nightclubs.
You know, and like we'll pre-drink till 11 or 12, and we'll go straight to the nightclub. But now we're like, we'll get in nice and early, get a pint of Guinness in a nice outdoors pub, sit up at the bar. But that genuinely makes you feel way better now, you know.
It does, exactly. It's like you're not trying to pretend yourself anymore. Like you're going out and you enjoy sitting with a pint of Guinness or a pint, and you enjoy talking about all the fitness and how you're getting on with stuff, you know, like it's well, years ago you didn't care about anything, you just used to go out and dance and get drunk. And
but as well, I guess there's another side of that as well, because I guess when we were younger you could go out every weekend and you'd see your mates all the time. Where now it's hard to get on your mates in one place. I know. And you just want to have a chat where it's not blaring music. Like, you want to find out what's going on. You want to have a laugh the way you used to have a laugh. Like, you know, do you remember this? Like, you know, because that's what it is now. Because you don't get, like, how long we've been planning this night out.
I know.
And now we've all got kids and people have gotten married, and the last year or two, and you know, it's much harder. And so everyone, we want to do it. That's good. And look, we can go on later on if we're still going with it, and like for a crack, we will probably go into something like that. But it's nice to get the few hours first, you know. So I think that, but drink as well, that can affect your spirit. I think, especially if you do too much of it, you know.
It depresses you as well. It knocks people back a lot as well. I find if I do go out and I drinking and I'm sitting around and you have the fear, they call it.
The fear,
although you'd be so like tired, you have the sweat, you're dehydrated. Even then again, if I went out done a half an hour of skipping or a run, when I get back, hot shower, feel great again.
Yeah, it usually takes me a few days to get back into it after I was at Stags recently, and it's overdid it probably, but it was a good mate of mine, right? So I like, all the lads were there from years ago, and we had a few pints of it like that as well. No nightclubs like that, but drinking all day kind of thing, you know. But it took me like 3 or 4 days to get back into. As soon as I went to the gym, as soon as I got a decent kit, I was good to go. Once you get back into it and eating right, but I think that whole fear thing, I think it builds up in your head. It doesn't. You can't sleep well with it. Mentally you're not in the same place and all, you know. So I think that's your spirit dampened almost, you know, with that. I think as well, it gives you meaning. Spirit is also, I think, it gives you meaning or drive in life. Like, it's hard to get up every day if you don't feel meaningful kind of in what you're doing. Look, I've been Christian more so the last few years, like I was saying, like that. But I find that gives me more drive to life, and it gives me a better outlook on life, more positive. And a lot of times I go running, I'm sore coming back, but I'm thanking God for Kyron in the house, and he's healthy and Sinead's there, and we're young, we're youth, we'll have a family. I know people get sick, and you know, people obviously pass on, but people come into the world as well. And it's that time where we're on both edges of it. You know, you see your parents getting sick, then you see your kids raising, and I think it means a little bit more. Sometimes I can't wrap my head around people who don't believe in anything, because where are they getting that meaning from almost? Do you know what I mean? Like, how do they, like, you know, sometimes I do think of that. You're a Christian as well.
As you're saying there, faith is a big thing now, you know. It's as a kid, my mum and dad bringing us to mass 8:30 every Sunday. They wouldn't let us miss mass, you know. And as we were growing up, we actually wanted to go to mass. It's just something that has always been part of me. I believe in God. I believe in, like, I have really good faith, and it's like, it does make you feel good about yourself. Before I leave a house, or before an event, before an interview, before the fight, I'd always say a prayer, and straight away it makes you feel good. Like, You know, so it's
It's definitely not a negative thing. I don't
No.
think it can be thought as a negative thing. You know?
the way I say it, I can't see how everything is the way it is. Like if
Yeah.
there wasn't something like it, to me it's just
Well, the last few years I've done an awful lot of research on it because I felt more being pulled into it than
Yeah.
being interested in it. It was like I've been pulled into it and I said, well, I may look into this. And I think that that's important if you're following something to look into it an awful lot. And same with your training, you look into what should I be eating, how much extra should I get sleep, how much extra should I do. But this as well, I think like there are three things I think that's my whole mantra was to be physically, mentally. They're the only two things I had. Spiritually was added a few years ago because I think for your own sanity sometimes, you know, if you, like I draw meaning from it and I think it's at least as believable as the Big Bang or nothing exploded and we're all here, you know what I mean? And even to look back at the evidence, there's so much evidence, it's so little some people know. Some people are atheists since they're 12. You know, like, well, you want to think about that again because you're going to dismiss the whole thing as a 12-year-old with a 12-year-old mind. You know what I mean? You want to think a bit more sophisticated approach to it.
Yeah.
But I think it's big. It's a good idea to put in your kids. I'm not saying that the whole Catholic Church and organised religion, they can be corrupt sometimes, but the whole following, you know, your faith, I think is important.
well see, even now, even although I went to church like most of my life, but now like I wouldn't go into a church really. You know, for mass I'd say
It's different. Catholic Ireland.
Catholic different. Once I say me prayers at home and you know stuff like that. That's
and you know
that's
what
enough for
the
me.
weird thing is when I started getting back into all this, I asked my nana for a New Testament Bible, and I found a lot of stuff that in it that wasn't in, because you have Christianity, but you have a lot of denominations from it.
Yeah.
Protestantism, you have Catholicism, you have Judaism's not one of it, but you have all these churches. They're like the Roman Empire set them up to control people in certain ways, and you know the way the Catholics do a lot of damage, you know, in certain ways. And but when I was reading the Gospel, it was like, he said you don't have to go to mass every Sunday if you sit in your room and pray.
That's just good.
And that was
Not
the
bad,
words of
you know.
Jesus, and I was like, that's not at all like what they say, you know. And then I realised it was a whole different thing that everyone thinks it is. You know?
And it's like down through the years, I've had a good few really close calls, and I've put it down to faith. Like something was there, something kind of basically like saved me at these particular points as well, you know. So it's I do believe that's because I had my faith from a young kid, and I think there's always something watching you kind of.
It definitely does help, because a few things are like, I remember when things weren't going well in a job recently, or like with me, not recently, a few years ago. It's just as soon as that started happening, this other opportunity started opening up, and it was way better, and it just opened up the perfect time, and then the way she was working, all of a sudden her hours changed, and they both worked around each other, and just like strange things, you know, that like just seem to fit into place sometimes, you know. Even when I look at Kyron, I think, you know, am I going to say he's a random, you know, mix of bacteria and chemicals that fall over by chance, you know? He's not, you know what I mean? He has transition value. That's why I was looking at the whole abortion thing. Like, you know, I was thinking that's a human, you know what I mean? Like, that's not a piece of, it's not a plant growing and so on.
Something I strongly disagree with.
Yeah, like 4 years old, or 4 days old, they have a heartbeat, you know. It's ridiculous. Like that's a genetic code.
Yeah.
Even when it's in its conception, that says their eye colour, and you can tell the build and everything from the very beginning. But anyway, we won't go into that. Yeah. But that's how I think all three of these things tie in together, and they do in a lot of ways, don't they? You need to drive. I think you think when you're physically driven, it seems to come with the mental side of things. You've been physically driven and mentally driven, and I think the spiritual thing, I think it was the missing part for me. It gave me a bit of meaning over the whole thing and made me see things much more clearly. It sounds like you're kind of similar in that way as well.
Definitely.
I think that even at this age, I think it's important that not to look at age, like you were saying, you started at 4 years old or 5 years old, and like you were saying, I don't feel myself ever stopping with it, and that's the way to be. You can cycle forever, you know. You can lift weights till until you're back to, you know, until the doctor says stop. You can run on the roads until, you know what I mean.
It's like, look, if you can like try to get some faith, do your training, kind of eat healthy. You don't have to really start giving up everything. If you just don't eat as bad, don't just constantly start eating bad. Do your bit of training, you'll feel a lot better about yourself. You'll look a lot better. You'll be able to run around with your kids more. You'll be able to enjoy family life more. Like you look younger. You'll be able to. Sometimes you have to be selfish. Get out, do your training. You know what you're doing it to better for yourself and for your family, for you to be healthier.
You need to look at it as I always say, you need to look at it as important as work. Like this is like you have to make time for this, like you make time for work. Like this is your body. Like we work the whole lot of our lives, and we're constantly like, I better make sure I'm there on time. I better make sure I get the hours done. That's the way you should look at your looking after your physical body.
That should actually come first.
Before it should come first before anything. You also say your health is your wealth. You know, people can draw the dough without a job, you know, and still be healthy and all. Now it's not the ideal thing, but that's why the mental side of things comes in. You can better yourself mentally and push forward and get a good job, decent wage, get your house, get your, you know, right. But I think that's how it all ties in. Fair play, no, thanks very much for coming on.
No, thanks very much for having me on.
Right, that's episode 1, we'll get you back in it.
And
see how you get on.
Cheers, thank you.